Basically, the Rebbe is going to explain it right. The Rebbe first says where the question comes from, and why a person would understand otherwise that it's not, that this lowest world is not within the range that Hashem should have divine providence here, Hashgacha Pratis. So the Rebbe says this is all mitzad when we look at it from the perspective of chain of creation. So there's a sequence and there's a higher and there's a lower. Aber mitzad. When we speak about Elam HaAkudim, over there, everything is tied together. The word Akudim means that all the revelations are all tied together. Since they're all tied together, this includes the whole chain of creation. So therefore, there is no difference between higher and lower. Higher and lower is only where there is actually a chain of creation with details which would make an impression that there's a distance between one point and another. But when we speak about Akudim, as all of them are Okud, all of them are tied together as one, in one vessel, over there everything is included and everything is within the same range. So when we look at the Elam HaAkudim from the perspective of Elam HaAkudim, as the Rebbe explained earlier, that all the attributes are all tied together, which the word Akudim in Hebrew means tied, so over there everything is equal. And therefore we can understand what it means, Hashgacha Pratis, divine providence in every detail, because everything is within the range.
Olam and Tia is also connected together over there?
Yeah, that's in other words because the Sfiras and the Elamis are connected together. The same way, in the same sense, we can understand that L'moshel Elam Atzilus we say is Chochmah. Elam Abriya we say is Bina, attribute of Bina. Elam Hayitzira are the emotions, the midas, the personal traits, the traits. Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, Netzach, Hei Yiseit. Elam Asiyah is Malchus. Since in Elam HaKudim they're all connected together, so therefore Elam HaSiyah is also within the range and a spiritual in a level that connects them all together. So the Rebbe says like this: Mitzad Pchinas Elam HaKudim, from the perspective of Elam HaKudim, Shesham Akel Okud Bekeli Echad, they're all tied in one vessel. Ubashva Mamish, all equal. One is not a priority in comparison to the other. Over there it's not shaykh to differentiate one from another, distinguish one from another, because they're all together. Therefore we can understand the divine providence in all the details, in the same sense that when the Yechidah Shebenefesh, which is the highest level in a person's soul, Neshama, is revealed, so then it actually electrifies all the Keichas together. And a person's personality sometimes changes in the sense, as we had it earlier in the Maimer, that has an effect, an impact on the personal traits of the person, the emotions of the person. And as the Frierdiker Rebbe says in a Maimer, in a Hasidic discourse, during the wedding, the Rebbe's wedding, that when we see by a person that his nature changes. In a time of Simcha, he becomes suddenly generous, when he was a very stingy person. Because it is revealed, the essence of a person's neshama, so it accomplishes a turnover in the emotions of the person, in the nature of the person. Okay, so this is what the Rebbe is saying. B'shas we look at it mitzad l'mato, and b'meila we see it in a sense that one is distant from the other, so we can't understand, we don't see their relationship. Shasa, but we know that in essence, when they are all connected together, which this is the essence, how they are here lamata, aderech, like the Mittel Rebbe explains, that the whole inyan of Ishtalshus, the whole chain of creation, is one rotzen, a rotzen kloli, a general rotzen. And all the details are all branches out of that rotzen. So therefore it is all one point, and that is the inyan of Achdus Hashem. Achdus Hashem, the oneness of Hashem, how everything is connected to Hashem. It is just that we see different expressions that seem to be different entities, different worlds, different stations, so to say. Shasa, when we look at it, Rabbi, which actually the Rebbe explains it further also, that when we look at it from the source where they're all from, we see that there is a relationship between one and another, and they're all equal. And here the Rebbe explains an example from what the Alter Rebbe explains further in the Maimer. To understand it with an additional explanation, maybe Sham, the Alter Rebbe brings Mashe Matzinu Daled Madreges, this is a Maimer from 201 years ago. Mashe Matzinu Daled Madreges Tatzcham, we see that there's 4 levels. There is the silent world, there's the plant world, there's the animal world, there's the people world. Shakol echad mehem kol muzalase. Each one consists of the other. And therefore, each one has from the other. The medaber the person, has in himself chai and tzemeach and daimen. He has in himself chai, which are the emotions, in a way when they're not mature, as the Alter Rebbe explains in Tanya in chapter 38, towards the end of chapter 38, tzemeach are the midas, which are also explain are the personal traits which develop and mature. That's why they're compared to tzemeach. And then there's the inyan of Daimon, which is basically the inyan of the Asius, the words of a person, which don't have a chayas on their own unless a person expresses intelligence, intellectual expressions or emotional expressions. Otherwise, words are considered Daimon. They don't have their own chayas. So therefore, when we see the inyan of Medaber, and Medaber has in himself all the levels, which actually the Rebbe speaks about it in Yud Tes Kislev and Chelik Vav. At that time, they didn't have the Sikha, the Mir Sikha was not Mugi yet, but it's in Yud Tes Kislev and Chelik Vav, Parsha Yisrei, the Rebbe speaks about it. The words themselves, the Asius, with which he's using, not the words.
If you put them together with the Shemesh
if you're using it, and then there's a chayas, there's nafshi yotza bedabre, there's an expression. But the words alone, there's a Yud Tes Kislev in Chelik Vav. You have Yud Tes Kislev here, Chelik Vav. The Rebbe explains the form. The Rebbe says that Asius nature are not a chayas in themselves, they're vessels. And b'shas a person uses them, so then he expresses it. He expresses the inyan of chayas. It's in Chelik in Yisrei, page 110. It's a beautiful sikha. The Rebbe says there's 4 inyanim in a person.
You mean letter, not word.
The letters I mean. The letters and what the... So the Mahusa Nefesh, Asius is Amshachah V'Gilui. But it says the Asius letters is only external. It is something which is a vessel through which you have a revelation of words, intellect, emotions. But it's remotely distant from Nefesh itself. Then there's Tzemeach. Tzemeach are the emotions. We see that they have excitement and a koch and very gets heated up. This is the inyan of Tzemeach. And then there is the inyan of Chai, the animal aspect which is in the person. It doesn't explain. I don't see here the inyan of Chai, how the Rebbe takes it up. But the Alter Rebbe explains in Tanya that the inyan of Chai is the emotions as they are not controlled yet by the seichel, by the intellect. It's like a natural instinct of an animal, which is not controlled yet by the mind. It's not me'ach shalit al alev. This is where the Alter Rebbe is in the end of chapter 38 in Tanya. Okay, in other words, this is basically what it is. Midas and Seichel, Tzemeach and Chai. The Rebbe says that in Midas is emotions. It's in this sikha, this is in page 110. That's what the Rebbe begins explaining the 4 different aspects. The Rebbe connects it with Matan Torah. The Matan Torah, there were 5 kelas. These are the 5 levels in the Shama. This is how the Rebbe explains it there. So B'chol Eifim, a person consists of everything, and we see it also in Gemara. We see it in Ovid.